everybody. Welcome back to another Tuesday, another episode of POV with Hailey and Brie. And we are joined by a very special guest that we are so excited to have, Anneliese.
Hello.
She is here to talk to us all about, her career, her area of expertise, her passion. And we're going to get to know that too, because we've had some talks about it, but I'm excited to go more in depth and ask you the real questions. So, but before we get started,
yes,
we always start our episodes off with like a check-in to see how we're doing, get the vibe for each other. And we do it with a scale of 1 to 10. So 10 being, you're doing great, best day ever. 1 being like, this is probably the worst day I've had in my entire life.
Have people even said a 1? That'd be horrible.
I don't think so. I think the lowest we've gone is a 4. So
pretty low, but not drastically low.
Like a 1. Gotcha.
I think if it was under a 4,
and it's like, well, I'm a 1 then. Oh, so funny.
I am a 10, I think.
Okay. Whoa.
Yeah, a strong 10.
That's good.
Yeah.
Do you usually try to keep like a positive outlook, or usually like a 10?
No.
No. Okay. Just okay.
Yeah. No, I think just with where life is at, with like things settling down, I feel like I can finally breathe a little bit, and so I'm like, okay, now I'm at a 10.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now I'm good. A few weeks ago, a little rough.
Yeah.
6, maybe a 5,
okay.
but yeah.
That happens. That's how it fluctuates.
Yep. It's life. Yeah.
Oh, Hailey, how are you doing?
I'm probably, I'd say, I'm probably a 9.
A 9.
A 9.
Wow, we're all doing pretty good.
That's good. Yeah. Yeah. Had work. I mean, just chilling. So.
Good.
Yeah. Here.
Yeah.
Nothing
Winter.
better. It's winter time. Almost. Yeah.
It still doesn't feel like winter yet.
No.
So sad about that.
So wild. Except the time change. Time change really jacked it up.
Yeah.
Truly.
That's why
I
it's
literally
winter.
get tired at like 7 o'clock. I'm like, well, ready for bed.
It's all of us.
Yeah.
Yep.
What about you, Brie?
Probably 7. I'm just ready to be done. My work shuts down not at the end of next week.
Okay.
So I'm just like, let's go. I want to be done.
Yeah.
So I've been done with work for a few weeks now.
Where do you work at?
Work at a company called Northrop Grumman.
Yep.
Yep.
Gotcha. Busy bee.
Busy indeed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, today was the first day I got home before, actually this whole week I got home very late. So today I got home at like 4 o'clock and I kind of took a nap. So that was well needed. Anyways, we're going to get started with diving in. So Anneliese, we want to, first of all, tell our viewers
Yes.
a little bit about you. Give us some fun fact or something, a little background about who you are, where you come from, what you do.
All little things. Do I just look in the camera over here?
Sure.
Either you can look
Okay,
at us,
look
you
at
can
you
look
guys.
at the camera.
Here we go. Okay, so my name's Anneliese. I am an academic advisor by day, and then I'm also doing my master's in marriage and family therapy. So I'm academic advisor, graduate student, and then also a therapist, essentially trainee.
Wow.
Busy bee too.
Yeah.
Busy bee. I do that. I live local, Christian, believer, been Christian my whole life. Fun facts. I love nature. I love camping.
Yeah.
I love doing solo trips, road trips, everything. I'm cool with that. Included in that is backpacking, like small little weekend backpacking trips is great. I think Parks and Rec is better than The Office.
Oh.
That should have been the POV.
No, that I mean,
That was a good one.
We're just gonna start the episode out on a
yeah.
topsy-turvy note.
So,
Is it because The Office is too cringe? Is that the reason?
I think I just like the characters a little bit more in Parks and Rec. Like, I feel like I love Donna Meagle, and I feel like I get her to my soul. So I'm just like, I wish I could have seen more of the other characters, or I feel like they didn't have as many of those like funky characters in The Office. Like The Office is still great, but I think Parks and Rec, I just laughed more.
Yeah.
But I
There
don't
you
know.
go.
Yeah. I do laugh a lot at like Andy and April.
Yeah.
They're good. And what's the guy's name that's like Donna's like best friend?
Oh my gosh, it's like me and the coworker always used to.
He's like
Donna and Tom.
Yes, Tom.
Yes, that's right.
Tom corrects me up.
He's so good.
Yeah, he got a lot of that. Anyways.
Yes. So, trying to think of other fun facts.
Siblings.
Good. That's
married,
a great,
single.
Yeah, single.
So
We'll put your number underneath the screen. Serious inquiries only.
Yes, please. No, totally kidding.
She's like,
not about the singleness.
just kidding.
But also, yeah.
Her Instagram handle.
That's great. I know. I'll just put it over there. 2 older brothers, and so I'm the only girl. I have 2 older brothers. Both live out of state. So one lives in Texas and one lives in Hawaii.
Oh.
So yeah, not bad. Not bad places at all. And then the one that lives in Texas has 2 daughters, and so I have 2 nieces, and I think they're the cutest. Yeah, so I just live at home with my mom and my cats. I recently adopted them. Well, not recently. A year ago, I hated cats growing up. Wasn't crazy about them. But we had a dog that passed away like after like 12 years, and so we were kind of like, oh, we want to get animals. And then a friend was like, hey, this random lady on Facebook is giving away cats, and I was like, ooh, I guess. And I was laughing because I was like, I'm gonna just go look at them, and then I walked through the door at home with 2 cats.
I was like, what? You're just looking at me. I couldn't leave. I
told my mom, I was just like, I'm just gonna go look, and she's like, you know, you're gonna come home with them. I was like, no, I'm not. And then I walked through the door with 2 kittens, and I was like, so
I have something to say.
Yeah,
I have an announcement to make.
Yeah, she was like, go get all the stuff. And I was like, but anyways, so I'm just kittens, and that's it. So. Yeah.
You said you go to graduate school right now.
Yes.
Where are you going?
I'm going to Azusa Pacific.
Okay.
Yes.
For psychology, or what's the master's in?
Yes.
Marriage and family counseling?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's the master's in clinical psychology with an emphasis in marriage and family therapy, which I'm not gonna lie, I just found out the full title of it. I thought it was
the more you know.
Yeah. I'm like, I just wasn't paying attention to it, I guess. But I always thought like, oh, just the master's in marriage and family. And it's like, oh no, clinical psychology with the emphasis. But yes, and so I'm doing that. It's actually my second master's. And so I know leadership and organizational studies. And so I graduated Cal Poly in December 2012, and then I started that master's program in February 2013. And I hated the program halfway through. Like, I wasn't fond of it. It was I think it was the thing that you do after like undergraduate. Like, okay, I got to go to grad school. All my friends were doing it, and I applied, and I remember halfway through I started the program in February 2013, and then I started working at APU in May 2013. And I remember halfway through the program, I wanted to quit because I was just like, I'm not fond of it. But my supervisor at the time was like, you have 4 classes left, just finish it. Like,
stick it out.
Just stick it out. I know it's not the best, but just stick it out. And then this whole time though, I had always wanted to become a therapist. Like, I knew that was something I wanted to do. I actually wanted to specifically be like a sex therapist. So that's still in the future.
Right.
But I wanted to be a therapist, but I kind of just figured like, okay, that's just like a dream that won't happen.
Sure.
So I graduated with the leadership and organizational studies program in 2014. And then life happened, and I always said like, maybe I'll go back, maybe I won't. And then I just ended up like, I think with COVID, there was this realization of like, life is going to keep going, and I can either make the jump or I don't do it. And so during COVID, I ended up applying to the program, and so I've been in it. It started in spring 21, and I graduated in fall 24.
Wow.
So it's been a long process, but I'm almost there.
Yeah,
so,
that's really exciting. That's great. So what made you want to do counseling and therapy?
Great question. Trauma.
Basically, tell us more.
Tell us more. And how do you feel about that?
Yeah.
No, I think for me, I've always, and I joke about it, but truly, like, I think just childhood experiences, seeing how my own family dynamics worked out. And I love relationships. I love dynamics. I love like friendships and romantic relationships and just understanding how they work. And I think for me, I just like, I wanted to be involved in that. And I love people. Like, I love people. I want to talk to them about everything. And I know friends, they always joke that they'll be like, we'll just be going to 7-Eleven, and next thing you know, you're crying because you're telling at least the story. Because I ask super in-depth questions where I'm just like, hi, I don't know you, but how's your heart? Are you okay? And it's like, oh no. I just asked you to get me like a water. Like, like it's super, I do that, but that's how I am. And so I think for me, I love the idea of counseling because I loved getting to know people and how they work and how they think and just why they do what they do. And so, and then I think just because, again, I love relationships. I love, and specifically like within the context of like even marriage, like I love marriage. I think it's beautiful. I think it's so, it's so demanding and so challenging. And so I think that's one of those things too, where it's like, oh, I want to be involved in that and I want to see what that looks like up close and help people through that. So, so yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
I really like it.
I love that.
It's been great. So yes,
it's been good.
It's been fun. I really enjoy it. I had my first semester where I'm in the process of finishing on Tuesday is my last client of my first semester of clients. And it has rocked me in a great way, but it's been the most rewarding thing.
Yeah.
And I just can't wait to do that full time.
What's the rocking part of it? Like what's the hard part about it?
So like in the program, I'll get to the answer. I'm going to like build up a little.
No, you're good.
Okay. So I think in the program, like your first couple of years, or because I'm in the program for 4 years because I'm a staff member, which is very okay because the idea of doing all that plus work, like on a 2-year program, hard pass.
Yeah.
No, thank you. So I feel like in the program, when you're starting off, like it starts to really tug at you emotionally because you're reading all these different diagnoses and you're reading these things and you're reading about abuse and disorders and these different symptoms. And so I'm reading about it, but I'm also going, oh, okay, like that actually kind of sounds a little familiar, or like, oh, I didn't know that was abuse. Got it. Like, and I think with my own childhood, like I grew up with, like an angry parent. And so that parent would, that angry parent would like throw shit around the house all the time. And it wasn't until like my trauma class that they're like, no, that's physical abuse. And I'm like, oh, it was physical abuse when he would throw the cabinet from this side of the wall to that wall. And they're like, yes. And I'm like, aha, okay. And so that's difficult because it takes this emotional toll and it basically uproots all the shit you've dealt with
that you've been shoving down.
That you haven't dealt with, or maybe that you haven't even noticed. So that's difficult. So I think in that process, the first few years, it was this like, oh God, what do I do? And kind of all the things. And then now that I'm kind of not moving past that because I'm still like navigating that. But now that I have clients, I think the most heartbreaking thing for me is one, like seeing where they're at and remembering, like, I remember being in that place and I want to just hug you and hold you and like, you're going to be okay. Because mainly like 99% of my clients are girls. And so it's like to hear them talk about their like self-worth when it comes to relationships or just their views of themselves. And that just like, it gets me. And I'm like, damn, I totally remember being in that place. And so, I forgot the question. My bad. Oh, why was it difficult?
Yeah.
So I think that's, sorry, that was a lot for that.
Good. That's good.
I think that's the part that feels like it's just a lot because I'm seeing these girls go through things and I'm like, just like, wait it out. Like, it's going to get better for you. Just wait it out. And so I think that's hard. And then also too, like the place that I'm working at is, seeing clients at is like a Christian-based thing or Christian-based area, whatever.
Is that on campus at ATU?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's a different campus that is a faith-based campus.
Sure.
And I think it's just so sad to hear all the stories that like you're faith-based and you're supposed to be different, but the amount of different cases and like that you hear, I'm just like, yep, here we go again, Christians effing up. Which that's a whole different conversation for another day, but I think that's really heartbreaking because there's a sense of like, this is a faith-based institution. You think that you wouldn't deal with these things as much, but unfortunately,
it happens.
So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you kind of touched on it, but like, what is some of the biggest? And I'm kind of jumping around. That
do it.
one. So we do that. But
keep it moving. Keep it moving.
Like
gotta keep it spicy. Keep it good.
Keep up the spicy. What's like one of the main things that you find yourself talking to clients with? Like, is it anxiety or is it like
Yeah, anxiety. I think anxiety is number one. Anxiety and self-worth. Like, I think that's the
was it on this side? Oh,
yeah.
Sorry.
I thought I put the microphone on this side.
One job.
I did my microphone wrong. Let me see if I can move it real quickly. I definitely thought it was on the other side of me, but you know. Oopsies. Give me a few.
You is good.
Brief intermission.
Brief intermission while Brie. Okay. I think I fixed it.
You're good.
All right. Perfect. Anyways, I'm gonna repeat the question.
Yes.
Go for it. What is like one of the most common things that you see people about or stories that you hear while listening?
A ton of anxiety, and it's a lot of anxiety well, a lot of anxiety, but it's like a lot of like the anxiety or like not sleeping, self-worth. It's like a lot of that are like symptoms of childhood experiences. And I think that's what's wild. So I never wanted to work with children because I was like, the thought of working with kids, like it would break my heart too much. And especially having my nieces, I'm like, I can't imagine like meeting with a little kid that's telling me abuse that they're going through or something. I would lose it. But the number one thing I've realized is that like, and it kind of makes me want to redo like work with children, is that all of these clients that are coming in essentially are dealing with trauma from when they were a child. So their anxiety, their lack of self-worth, their lack of self-identity, the negative thoughts that they have of themselves, they can all pinpoint it to like when I was 5, when I was 10, when I was 12. Like they can all pinpoint. And what makes me even more sad is a lot of it is like, oh, my dad said this to me, or my mom did this. Or like I have one that like her dad's like a big pastor out of state, and she's just like, I remember he told me all these things growing up, and she's like, and now he's not that person anymore, but she's like, I completely don't trust him because this is how you were, you know, back then. And so yeah, I think anxiety, a lot of self-worth issues, which again, when we dig past or like we go deep and like, okay, but where did that come from? A lot of it is just childhood trauma, and they're just trying to deal with it. And so it's one of those things where I feel like I've kind of adopted a recent model or a perspective of the fact of like, we're all just stuck at a certain age. Like some of us are stuck at a certain age. Like
your inner child.
Yeah, you're stuck at that inner child. So, and that's a lot of work that I do with a lot of my clients is, what would you say to 7-year-old versions of yourself? And the amount of breakdowns I see, like, it just makes me, it's sad. It's sad. It's encouraging. It's hopeful, but it just is more of like, like the things that happen to us when we're younger that we don't really think that have a big effect of like on you. It wrecks you.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But anxiety.
Yeah. I mean, that's a big one.
Yeah. And everyone experiences it. I don't think everyone has like anxiety disorder. I think we can have moments of anxiety. And I think that there's a difference between that, because I know we like to throw out the term a lot, like, oh, just my anxiety or just whatever. But I don't think people like have like full on disorders, but I think we can feel moments of it 100% for sure. So
totally. And I think sometimes it like manifests as like other things too. And you're like, oh, okay. Yeah. This is what it is.
Yeah. Absolutely.
How does all of this, like learning about psychology, being a therapist, helping people, how does that affect like your own therapy journey? Are you in therapy yourself? I guess would be a good question. Solid
question. No. No, I have a therapist and she's amazing, but she went out of Kaiser. Like she went through her insurance. So I've been paying out of pocket. I'm kind of like, I believe you're worth every penny, but I just don't have those pennies. Yeah. So I don't meet with her, but I think I'm going to pick back up. But I met with her or she's been my therapist for like the last like year and a half. And then I tried to find one through Kaiser and it wasn't a good fit. Yeah. And so I'm in the process of finding a new one, just because there's hours that we have to do as students, like we have to get our own clinical. So I think I'm like 12 hours behind, which I graduated.
Do you have to go to therapy as part of your school?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So part of your program, you have to do 40 hours of personal therapy in order to do that. So I think I'm probably at about like 27, something like that. So yeah, so you have to just do personal hours, which I appreciate. And they said, it's actually funny. They're like, yeah, that's the number one thing that keeps students from graduating. And I'm like, that's funny that we're therapists, but we don't. But again, like it's hard. People don't want to go through their insurance and paying out of pocket.
Yeah, it's expensive.
So it's expensive. Yeah.
There's stuff to add on to. Yeah, because school's not free for most people either.
Nope.
So.
Yeah.
That's wild.
It's trying to add it on.
I mean, it makes sense, but I feel like they should be like, here's like a coupon card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like can we provide some type of therapy for the students? I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a bummer, but yeah. So but I'm so sorry. The question was, how has that affected my own?
Yeah, like how does that affect your look on what you do as a therapist?
I think it makes me appreciate my expensive therapist like so much more. And yeah, it just makes me appreciate the work so much more. And I haven't seen her I think since like August or so. And so I'm kind of like, oh man, I feel like my first session is just going to be talking about like I love you.
Everything.
Like everything and like catching up on all the things. But it also, like, in a way, it just, I don't know, I guess, what am I trying to say? Like, I see the grace that my own therapist has with me, so that then makes me want to do that with my clients.
Yeah.
Which you should anyways. But like when I hear my clients tell me super like shit that I'm just like, whoa, you've never said that before, and they're crying and all these things, it kind of just makes me appreciate my therapist and the relationship I have with her. That therapeutic relationship of like, man, this woman knows all my secrets. Like she knows all the fears and all the things. And yeah, I value it. And I think I have a deeper respect in, like a view of like sacredness towards it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. I have so many questions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
Because I go to therapy.
You do?
Haley's gone to therapy a couple times. We've
Yeah,
talked
I've gone
about
a
it.
couple times, yeah.
I've been going to therapy for almost 3 years now, and I love it.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I've like started. Okay, also there's someone outside like being annoyed.
Maybe that was a critter.
Yeah. Or some
That's
guy
a big-
setting up a
That's
ladder.
a big critter.
Yeah. Are you single?
It worked. It worked.
Stop. He's
Thank
like,
you, Jesus. Just kidding.
no, but one of the things I keep starting to think about is like, because sometimes like my therapist will bring in like, oh yeah, like my kid or like my husband. I'm like, oh yeah, like you have a life of your own. Like you're not just like my therapist.
Yeah.
So do you ever see like, okay, what's the etiquette? Like how much do you ask your therapist questions about their own life?
Yeah. So, which annoys me. My therapist won't give me any details about any shit in her life. And I'm like,
Whoa.
tell me everything. The extent of what she told me is just like, I know what it's like to work from an anxious attachment because I've had that, because that's just different attachments. So she'll kind of self-disclose that. But she won't share anything like else, which is part of like,
which makes sense.
Like, and essentially like with therapy, like you don't go to therapy to have someone like just completely validate your feelings. Like it's for you to process, but just because they're your therapist doesn't mean that they're going to fully agree. They're there to challenge you. They're there to kind of like challenge you in unbiased ways, but because essentially like you're the one that knows yourself. Like I think that's the thing. It's like, I'm not going to tell you anything that you don't know. I'm just going to help you process it because you already know the answer to whatever you got to do. I think, so I'm not saying it's a ripoff because it's great, but like, that's what I've learned, that I'm like, all my clients know what they're doing. I'm just helping them process through it and just kind of reflecting and showing, just kind of holding up a mirror. And so, so my clients, so they don't really ask. I probably self-disclose a little more than how my supervisors would want, but I also feel like that builds rapport and connection with my clients. And I'm willing to do that. I'm willing to tell my clients, like I had a client that had shared with me and she's just like, like, I got drunk a lot this summer and I hooked up with guys. And like, my relationship with the Lord is now ruined completely. And I was kind of like, you're fine. Like, let's talk about this. And I just said like self-disclosing, like I've done that too, but like, we know that like in our faith, like that looks different. And we know that that's a point of grace and a whole other parts to it. But again, I feel like that helps me relate and helps me connect, because I've heard so many of my clients say that they're like, yeah, I've had someone that like, it feels very like they don't share anything. And it's kind of like, oh, okay, this is a little too stoic for me.
Sure.
Yeah.
But so I'll self-disclose whatever I feel comfortable, but I know the protocol, we don't say hi in public.
Right.
Yeah.
I've never seen my therapist in public, so I've never like had that, but like, yeah.
I saw a client in public once recently.
Wow.
And it was very like, just like the other way, like, it was awkward.
It's kind of like you're a secret agent.
Yeah. It was awkward. And then I ended up calling the client after just to be like, hey, so like, just want to make sure you're okay. I know we saw each other and it was good. Like we were fine, but I felt like the need to like,
be like, I wasn't being rude.
Yeah. And luckily they knew. They're like, oh, I know the rules. And I'm like, all right, great. So it was fantastic. But
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I don't see my former therapist, but
I don't know why. I think we were going to like a similar event and she's like, oh, we were something about downtown Covina, and she's like, just like if I ever see you, like I can't say hi. So it's like,
I didn't know that was a thing. That's
It's very interesting.
let me tell you, if I saw my therapist, I would immediately be like, Jen, hi,
So if
everyone.
we acknowledge you,
100%. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, as long as you acknowledge first, then we'll say hi. Which I'm like zero shame in like therapy. So I'm just like, oh hell yeah. If I saw her out in public, I'd be like, yes, this is what you look like. Because my therapist has only been on Zoom, so I've never, I have no idea. I don't know how tall she is. I don't know, like,
Funny.
I just see this. So it's just like,
Right. Yeah.
So, but yeah.
Do you ever get frustrated with your maybe not frustrated, but maybe like you want to shake them, like
Yes.
just like get it,
Yeah, I do. I think I do for sure, and I think that there's moments where it's like I can see a client like we're going deep in something, and then the client will go like and they'll like I have a client that will just always tell me stories, and I'm like, okay, let's bring it back to the situation, and then they'll just like, oh, but what about blah blah blah, blah, and then she'll just tell me stories, and the next thing you know, I'm like, damn it, it's been 50 minutes, I can't get her. So
you're like, dang, she's too far gone.
Yeah. And it's actually really funny because she we did like 8 weeks of therapy, and it was difficult really kind of getting in there and connecting with her. And she was like, I think I'm done. I don't need therapy anymore. Like, I think I resolved my issues, whatever. And I remember being so like, damn it. Like, I don't know what I did to help her, but I think I was like having a bad day or something, like the second to our last session. Cause she's like, I'm going to be done on this date in December. And I'm like, cool, whatever. And I think like the second to the last, or no, that was supposed to be our last session. That's right. It was our last session. I don't know if I was just tired or whatever, but I think I kind of just like, I'm not going to hear the stories today. Like, I'm not going to hear it. And so she was sharing, and I'm like, I'm going to stop you right here. This is what you've been doing this whole time. So I was probably like near my period because I was a little bit more spicier, but I'm very thankful that like that worked in my favor because she completely broke down. And I was laughing. I was like, so I know you wanted to be done with therapy. And she's like, I know, I'll see you next semester. I was like,
that's so funny.
Thank you. But it took that long. And that's sometimes how long it takes with clients where it's just like, okay, like you're going to take a long time to trust me because you don't know me. Like,
right.
And so, there definitely like that was a moment where I was like, oh my God, get to the point. Like I know what you're trying to do, and I know you're trying to like throw me off, but I'm like, I see what you're doing. So but yeah, there's that one. Like, so it's more of like that.
Yeah.
I think for the most part. So
yeah.
Have you ever had clients walk in and like you're like, oh yeah, like I mean, you know, it might take a while to like get to know me and trust me, and they're just like straight trauma dump, and
my
you're
favorite.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We're really speeding up this process.
Yeah. I had one that was like, it's like she had recently transitioned from another therapist to me. And she came in and she's like, all right, so here are all my symptoms, this. And I was like, this is ready to go.
Like, wait, hold on. I have to take these notes.
And that was my very first session.
Oh my gosh.
That was my very first session. Like, and I just was like, holy cow. And,
she's like, keep up.
Yeah, she's like, we're good. But I'm super happy, and this is so petty of me. But she was just kind of like, she just told me because I just ended with her this last week for the winter or for the fall. And she was just like, I'm not going to lie. She's like, I think I like you a lot more than my previous therapist. And I was like, let's go! Which it's funny. Not like, it's not a competition.
But you're like, it kind of
is.
Like,
a little bit.
It was good.
I won.
But no, yeah, I have people that open up, and I think like that's how I was to my therapist. Like I was just like, oh, here's all my shit. And they were like, okay, well, you're easy. This is fantastic.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do have clients that will open up, and then some clients that are like, we're just
gonna sit here for 15 minutes.
Yeah. Like some of my clients, they have to do it for a class. And so when I'm like, oh, how are you doing? Fine. How's everything going? Great. Do you want to talk about anything? No, not really. And we've literally just sat there for like,
what do you talk about?
Tell me about your grandma. Tell me about your ad. Oh, how old were you when you lived? I talk about everything under the sun.
Yeah,
because I have nothing to like.
Yeah, to go off of. So you're trying to find something.
Something.
Yeah.
And I just finally, and then I remember when she hit her 8 weeks, and because they had to do 8 weeks for a class. When they hit their 8 weeks, I was thinking like, okay, like maybe she's gonna be done. And on the 8th week, she's like, so I kind of want to talk about my ex-boyfriend, and the relationship and its effect. And I was kind of like, are you?
Like, I can't do this all in 50 minutes.
Right.
We need weeks.
Yeah. And so it was just funny, but she's cool, and she wants to meet next semester. So I'm like,
oh, that's good.
It was her first time in therapy. And so she's just like, I really like it. I want to meet next semester. And I'm like, what?
You had a great time?
But she loved
it.
Yeah. Like we did a rating because we have to give them like a scale of like, how did you like this session? And she's like, no, I think you've been amazing, and you've really helped me. And like, okay. I've opened up, and I'm like, okay, I don't know what I did.
Yeah.
But I've literally asked her about every single thing in the book.
Yeah.
Wow.
Good for you.
Way to go.
Look at you opening people up.
Yeah, should try. I'm good at small
Natural
talk. I will BS myself. I can talk it
That's
all
amazing.
up,
That's really
That
good.
is not my strong suit. So
Yeah.
that's why half of us need to have that strong suit so that the other ones can feel comfortable.
but like, you
That's
just take a break.
fantastic.
I'll take care of it. I know. I think I literally was like, so what do you do for Thanksgiving? So who cooks what? So like,
Wow.
okay. So do you guys all dress up? Do you not dress up? I was like
That's
anything, but I'm like, okay, well, we're gonna go through all the. I
All
ask a lot of
things.
questions, so I'm like,
Funny. Yeah.
I
There are
have
all
them
times
ready.
when you gotta fill it in.
I'm
you know?
ready.
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay, talk to us a little
Yeah.
bit about therapy and counseling as an industry, as a career. Like, how do you
Mhm.
think that's different than other? Well, if you've had other jobs, but like other careers, because you are talking to like it's
Mhm.
a very much service based industry. Like, how
Right.
do you feel like that is different?
Yeah. It's actually funny. Our group supervision yesterday, we were just talking about it, about how like our group supervisor, so we meet like trainees meet with supervisors multiple times during the week,
Yeah.
essentially to make sure that we're all like in line and following rules. And so he was telling us a story about how he's like, my friend's an actual like surgeon doctor, and that the surgeon told my group supervisor, like, your job is way harder than mine because I
Wow.
just memorize and I work on a body, I do that. But she's like, but the crap you hear is so much difficult. And I think to say I agree feels so like counter, like, no
but-
offense to medical profession, like, not
No.
wanting to say that, but, it is so difficult. Like you're
Yeah.
carrying people's shit, like you're
Yeah.
carrying their abuse, you're carrying their deep dark secrets and, things that they've like even committed. So, legally, if someone reports a crime that they did, we won't call. So if they literally say, I murdered someone an hour ago, we don't report
Stop,
it.
really?
Mhm. Part of the law. Isn't that crazy?
That's
Isn't that
insane.
crazy?
But
Okay, if someone's like, yeah,
if someone's
but what if they're in
self-harming,
the-
don't you have to report that or no?
It's not
Self-harming to self, yeah. But if they're like, if my sessions, and this is how my supervisor said,
seems so...
it seems so counterintuitive.
Yeah.
But can't they like court order you in like a case and be like, you have to say what this person's been telling you? Like
I don't think
testify?
they can.
Yeah.
'Cause
You don't put on the progress notes. I don't think you do. Like, there's no need. I don't see a therapist being like, person admitted to doing this.
that's got to be with
Right.
like confidentiality,
Yeah.
right? Of
Yeah.
just being like, no, you can't go to
Yeah.
the therapist.
Yeah. But
That's
that's
so
what
interesting.
isn't it wild? That's what the supervisor told us, because a trainee, their client confessed to like something really brutal that was like, it took all of us like, and I was like, can we arrest this client to the supervisor? And they're like, no. They're like, it doesn't, even if they like, if someone comes into our session at like, or you have a session with someone at 3 p.m., if at like 2:45 they killed someone and they tell you I just killed someone, you don't say anything because it's part of the law.
That's insane.
So, like, so you have to completely wipe out all of your bias, all your thought. You are a blank slate to these people.
Yeah.
And that's the hard part.
yeah, I
Well,
can't imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be like, I'm gonna leave now.
Yeah.
You can go.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're gonna do.
Yeah.
but I'm gonna go home.
Yeah.
Never come back. That's insane.
So thinking about that, it's like that's difficult. How do I hold this and how do I listen to someone,
yeah.
like without wanting to get too much into details? How do I listen to someone telling me that they abused someone in their family or they committed a crime or they're into some really weird porn shit that I'm like, holy shit.
Right.
Like, how do I just go,
Yeah, and like help them
So tell
process
me,
through that. Yeah.
like, and then I think it's crazy. It's like, it's not even a matter of like, it's whatever they want to do. So if I like, my thing would be like, we're going to try to get so you don't do that ever again.
Yeah.
But if they're just like, I just want to limit the amount of time I do this. And it's like, okay, then how can we limit that? Like, not in regards to like crime, but like, if someone's into some weird freaky porn shit or whatever, and it's like in my mind, I'm like, oh my God, what do I do with this? But if they're just like, I just want to watch it twice a week rather than 5 days, I'm like, great, then how do we work on doing it twice? And the fact that I have to sit there with a straight face and be like,
yeah, and be non-biased.
non-biased
Yeah.
That's
is
so
the craziest thing for me.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm sure you have so many opinions on
Yeah.
like
Obviously,
thousand.
and your values are different than their values.
Yeah.
And
And you leave all of that at the door.
especially
Right.
from a Christian standpoint, that's got to be like, oh,
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
can I help you? You can't. Like,
Yeah.
you literally, like,
Yeah.
obviously in your spare time,
Yeah.
but you can't.
And I know the place that I'm at, like, look, it is a faith-based place, so I can include faith but also like if the client's like, no thanks, I'm like, cool, then we don't have to talk about that.
Yeah.
So I think that's the part that I'm just like, I have, and literally like yesterday was a supervision and I was like, I hate this job sometimes because it's just so counter to what we've always been, what we've been told. And so I think that's probably the hardest part, is the fact that we have to hold this. And even these people that are horrible, these are people that have been abusers, that are addicts, that beat their kids when they're, whatever it is, we have to hold space for them still, which is from a Christian perspective, the whole idea of grace upon grace for people. I'm like,
you're like, this is the Lord's work.
I'm not this is good. Not me. That's good.
Yeah.
But I think, so because of that, I think there is a sense of like, okay, this is a very difficult, and how do I listen to someone share that and then go home and be like, cool.
So with that being said, like, do you have a hard time leaving everything at the door? Like when you leave, like stuff that happened at work to like home, or is it hard for you to like switch it off? Certain
cases and certain clients are hard.
Mm-hmm.
Certain clients are really hard just because I fear for them. Like I have a client that like they were suicidal at some point and they were kind of like, I'm not fully there, but I'm on my way. And I'm like, okay, Lynn, like, and I remember like leaving that session and being like, please don't do anything. Please don't do anything. And like, if you're looking at like, if going through my checklist, like they were fine, nothing was going to happen. But I think that's what a supervisor told me, is like, that's the part that a therapist, I wish I can have a wand to make you feel better. But sometimes you just need to feel like shit. And you just like, you not need to, but like, you're just going to do that and you're going to go through it. And that's all it is.
That's just
And so I was like terrified for this client's life, but it's like, they didn't really show any like suicidal like intention. It was just more of like, they're like, I could be there. I'm not there yet, but I could be like, if I keep going this route. And so it's like, okay, then what do we do to get you not like get you off that track? And luckily we figured it out and everything. But I think that's the part that I'm just like, I can't just help, like, and I have to trust the fact when I say like, are you going to harm yourself? And they go, no. And I'm like, okay, I have to trust that, which is even more like of like okay. Cause something can happen 15 minutes after this. And it's a really, really sad thing of kind of like, we can trust them all we want, but, and which is also kind of a dark thing to say, but if they're going to do it, they're going to do it. And there's unfortunately nothing, like we can do everything we can, but if someone's going to do something, they're going to do it. And I'm like dreading like that day of ever happening, but I just, So I think that like holds heavy to me. Totally. And I think like at night I was like, I can't tell you any information, Mom, but please pray for a client. She's like, okay, I guess. And so like, I just, but that one,
I got those.
Yeah.
So.
And so,
but how do you not carry it? Like, are there any like methods you do to be like, okay, like
alcohol? Just kidding. Just kidding.
This is a good one. Therapist.
It serves its purpose. It serves its purpose. But I think for me, processing with other therapists 100%, like with fellow trainees in the program. And I think that was like after one of my first sessions, like I remember leaving and being like, I can't talk to anybody else. I need to talk to people who are in this field because they will 100% get it. And so there's been plenty of phone calls and me driving home at night, like, oh God, I don't know. And I'm like just complaining about a client, or not complaining, but just like venting about a client. I'm like, what do I do? And I think that's kind of like the only way I can get through it. So
totally.
Yeah.
Last question for you.
Yeah.
So you can take this.
How are we
either
on time?
way.
I'm like, are we good? Can I talk?
Yeah, no, we're
oh hell yeah, let's go.
So good on
we're
time.
Going.
But like one of the last questions I kind of have is, and maybe Hailey will have more of it, but one of my last questions is, what is some advice you would give either, you can do both or either both, to somebody looking to or thinking about going into therapy, like for themselves, or going into therapy for their own career.
Okay, so. What do I want to? That is a really good one. Okay, so I'll start with what do I want to start with first? I'll start with the career aspect of it. Okay. Excuse me.
I burped earlier and I was like, that was a loud one. I think the microphone.
We're gonna edit that one out.
That's definitely happened to me, and I'm like, oh, I gotta listen. I'll like go back once the video airs, and I'm like, I think it's fine. I didn't hear anything.
We'll be good.
That's funny.
Anyways, sorry, I'm talking like this. I think for those going into the career, I think the thing that I wish I would have known was, because I feel like my program didn't really say this a lot, the actual like tangible work you do, not that bad.
Okay.
The mental, emotional work that happens is insane, and it's one of those things where it, at least for me, I feel like it completely who I was when I started the program in spring 21 to who I am now is a completely different person.
Sure.
And I think the emotional toll that it takes on you, like being transparent, like the amount of breakdowns I've had, the amount of moments that I've had to tell my supervisor, I can't work today, like I can't do it. The amount of tears and the amount of like, even to the point where I had to like even separate from some family, and not talk to them because I was doing a lot of work, and I was kind of like, the work that I'm doing right now, like I can't be around you because you will set me off, like, because I'm learning about this, and then I'm like, oh, I can't be around you because you're gonna totally like set me off.
Sure.
So I think if you are going into this career, like 1,000%, like I encourage it, but I just be weary, have a strong foundation, have a strong community, and just be ready for the work that's going to take place, because shit that you had no idea. And I had been to therapy before I started this program, and I thought like, oh, I dealt with it. But the way I describe it essentially is kind of like, we're looking at this, like I've looked at my entire life, like this direction from this thing. And then I feel like, I'm like, oh, then there's this angle. Oh, and there's this angle and there's this angle. And you're looking at the same problem from all these different angles and these different layers that you're like, I never would have thought about that a year ago. In that way. And so I feel like it's just different layer upon layer upon layer. And so it's hard. It's really a lot of emotional work. It is so worth it though. Like the freedom that comes with it. So there's that. To those that are interested in therapy, I'm in the boat, and I think I saw an outline of like, I believe everyone can benefit 100% from therapy. I think I'm safe to say I think it should be mandatory. I think it should be like even more so like mandatory, like in high school or in elementary schools and stuff like that. Which I understand there's bigger social like things around that, but I think it is helpful, and I think it should be mandatory. However, like, I recognize how terrifying it is to go to therapy. I recognize why people avoid it. I recognize and I validate why people go to addiction. So like I joke about alcohol, like, oh, alcohol getting me through. But there was a season of my program where like a drink a week did kind of get me through. And it wasn't, I can look back and even processing it with my professors, it wasn't good, or it wasn't necessarily like a healthy way, but it is what I needed in that season to keep me going. And if that's what I needed, that's what I kind of needed to cope. So not necessarily celebrating it, but recognizing like, alcohol and this time of going out served its purpose. And that's kind of it. And again, not encouraging it, or whatever, figure it out on your own. But I think for me in that season, it was like going out or doing these things that served its purpose. And so for those that are interested in going, it's one of those things where it's just like, it's terrifying. It's the most vulnerable thing, but it's worth it. And you can take all the time that you want to find a therapist. Each therapist, you can work with a therapist for a certain amount of time. And if you feel like that season with that therapist is done, that's okay. Because I've had 4 therapists since in the last 10 years. And they all taught me something completely different. And so even recognizing that, and then I was in different season in each one too. So yeah, I'd encourage someone to seek it out, and it's going to be terrifying. It's going to be vulnerable. There's going to be a lot of emotions and feelings. And also I think our therapy work and our work of working on ourselves, I don't think we ever reach a point of like, okay, I'm done. I'm over this. I feel like that's just work that is forever. And I feel like it's work that's like, I mean, we talk about like, you know, in the Christian, like the sanctification process of like, we're constantly being renewed. I also think that that's part of it too. And so, I feel like if people can have therapists forever, I think it'd be great. Like, I feel like we should all just be able to be each other's like therapists in a way of like, you get assigned. So, but yeah, it's vulnerable and it's scary, but God, it's so worth it. It's so worth it.
That's really cool. That's so good.
question.
Any final questions?
I don't have any.
No,
questions.
that was I think I've just been like so like in tune to this because it's so interesting.
Yeah.
I love therapy and like I do think what's interesting I've known a couple people who have been going to therapy and their therapist is like, I think you're done. Like I think we're good. And so like that's interesting. Like
Yes.
the two different like this is continual versus like you're good kind of thing, you know.
I had a client yesterday because we were trying to decide like, do you want to go into the spring or do you fall? And she just kind of like was like, do you think I need it anymore? And I'm like, no, I think you finished a long time ago. But I recognize that this is your outlet to get out. And that's where it kind of gets a little bit like, I think a lot of supervisors, and depending on the place that you're at, they'll be like, nope, cut it. We don't want them to become dependent on us. But I'm also like, but also how do we know that they are dependent on us? Like, what if we do stop therapy and then they go off the rail? Like maybe this is the thing that's keeping them in line. So right now in this perspective, I have the mindset of like, have a therapist forever. Who cares? But who knows if that'll change. I'm open to the fact that may be like, you know, and each client is different too. But sometimes people are done and that's okay.
That's cool.
And that always makes me sad because then you break up with your therapist and you're just like,
I can't. So like, I feel like that moment might be coming, like maybe 2024 for me, and that makes me like sad. I've been seeing her for so long.
I think during like when I first started the program, I was seeing a therapist who was actually a trainee. So it's kind of funny that like I was in my very first semester, and I was seeing someone in their last semester, and now I'm like, I get it now. But I remember when I ended with her, I just was like, what do I do? And I remember like she was crying and she kind of was just like, I know I'm not supposed to say this, but you're one of my favorite clients.
That's so sweet.
And a part of me was just like, don't tell me that because it gets to my head. Like, and I love it, but it was hard. And I think about her and I'm like, man, the way she like impacted my life, like in that first semester. And I've even tried to look her up and I can't find her anywhere. And I'm like, damn it. Cause I just want to tell her like, now that I'm on this side, like, oh man, you were amazing. And I know she told me, she's just like, you can look me up and like, maybe I can be your therapist. I'm trying to. I know she told me that back then. So I feel like I need to just
if she's watching now, she's trying to find you.
I feel like there's still hope.
Yeah, I know. But she's been awesome. So I just, but I remember that breakup and that was hard. And I remember she said, she's just like, this one's going to be hard for me.
Yeah.
And now that I'm in this like seat, I'm like, oh, I'm so sad about the ones I ended last night. I'm like, like
it's hard.
It's hard. Wow. Okay, we need to get into
POVs.
Not to abruptly switch because it's so good, but we need to go into POVs. Yeah. Would you like one of us to go first, or would you like to kick us off with your POV?
Oh, I don't know. I do have one though.
Oh, okay. I think you should go for it.
Full force.
Bras are overrated.
Bras are overrated. That's a good one.
I think, okay, so the purpose of bras, I don't know if like to help look good, to hide and everything like that. But I think for me, I'm just kind of like, but why though? Yeah. Like it's uncomfortable.
Yeah, it really is. I never wear a bra unless I'm going to work or church. And if I'm going to ice cream with Hailey, no bra.
No, sweatshirt. You're going to go.
No bra.
No bra. But I don't know. I just feel like, and I guess more of like, I think of like, why do I wear them though? Do I wear it for myself? Do I wear it because it looks good, but it's like, is it because it looks good to myself, or is it like, oh, it's going to be appealing? Like, what's the point? And so I don't know.
Yeah.
There's a whole process behind that, but a part of me, I'm just like, but why wear them? Like, who cares if it looks a little different in the shirt? Like, boobs are boobs. And I also don't care about like, I know, and I used to be like this of like, ends showing. I don't know if I can say that word. Okay, gotcha. Like nipples showing, but it's just kind of like, they're nipples. What do you like?
Yeah, who cares?
Yeah.
And they're under a shirt.
And they're under my shirt.
Yeah.
And I just I don't care about whatever. With like, think of your brother stumbling at me. Okay, well that's a whole other hot take. That's a
whole other thing.
Get out of here! Look away.
There's no brothers here tonight.
Yeah.
Okay. Hailey, what's your POV?
My POV is I also think something's overrated. I think beaches are overrated.
Whoa.
Not a big fan of the
beach.
Not a big fan of the beach.
I know.
It's too sandy. It's like it's
okay,
just
Anakin.
Not that great. What? No one thought you were joking. I don't know. I'm just not a big I like the beach cities, but I'm not like let's go like go to the beach all day from like 8 a.m. until like
Hard pass for
yeah,
you.
no, it's just not it for me. The river, I love the river.
Everyone
Maybe that's
says,
because it's a different vibe. I don't know.
There's no waves.
I've always wondered this because I've always heard the river. And I'm like, which river? All my friends growing up, well, not even my friends growing up, I heard it from people that are like, oh, I'm going to the river. I'm going to the river. I'm going to the river. And I'm like, is it called the river? Which river? Are you going to
I think
river?
it just
It's a good
depends.
question.
I think it just depends, like where, I don't know. People
What river
talk
are
about.
you talking about?
I'm talking about like Parker, Arizona, like Havasu.
I think that's someone.
I feel like a majority of the people around
The
here, like
river.
when they're talking about the river, they're talking about
Gotcha.
like Parker, Arizona, Havasu.
Does
that type of vibe.
do the people there call it
Fascinating.
the river?
I mean, I've heard the river or Havasu. That's like
Okay.
the biggest,
Interesting.
but I don't know.
Yeah, that's a hot take.
The river.
The river.
This is like what
the
river?
river.
What
The
river?
river.
They're like, I don't know. I'm just going to the
For
river.
all
She's
my
like,
life.
no, what?
But
river?
which one?
Which
The-
river?
which river?
How big is the river?
How big is this? So I think that's where I'm like,
Interesting.
what? So yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. Sorry.
I've never been either, so I have no idea what she's talking about.
You
So,
should go.
well, maybe you should like the beach.
No.
Just kidding. I'm
I
just
want
kidding.
to. You can take your beach. Take it. I'll
What
take
did
Take
the
it
it.
beach
and
do to
shove it
you?
up your
Tell
butt.
me
I'm
about
just
that.
Not a big. I think also just because I get sunburnt so.
I was gonna ask, do you get
easily.
burned?
I literally get
know, I'm
burned.
sorry, guys.
I get burned so easily. I know. Thanks, Mom, for the pasty skin. But yeah, so I don't know. And the beach, I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like the river, the water is cooler than it is
Yeah.
at like the beaches, because I feel like the beaches here, the water's warm. Or maybe, I don't know.
Hmm.
That's just the
I don't really get into our beaches. Like I don't.
That's also it's just not.
It's kind of gross.
yucky.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Wild.
What about you? What's your POV?
My POV is that there is such a thing as too much butter.
okay.
People
All
be
those
putting.
Southerners are gonna be very upset.
People be putting
Like unsubscribe.
so much butter. Stop it. Stop it. It
No.
makes your bread soggy. Like no, I don't want soggy buttery bread. Like I put a good slabbering of butter on my raisin toast in the morning.
Say slabber.
Slabbering.
Slabber.
Oh.
Slabbering. I'm
Whatever.
trying to be southern.
Yeah.
So they
I get
don't
it.
unsubscribe.
Yep.
Come on.
But they it's like 3 tablespoons of butter
slabbers.
on a 3 slabbers. That's
Three
too many
slabbers on a
slabbers.
Did you
butter.
see it happen somewhere recently? Is that
Yeah,
Okay,
people
gotcha.
at my work at the cafeteria,
Mm.
when I
Slabber it all up.
get toast and eggs, like my bread is like dripping in oil, and I'm like,
That's.
I don't want to eat that.
I wonder if it's because they have those, like how
Mhm.
restaurants have those like things where I don't know. There's like butter at the bottom, but it's like a roller.
what are you talking about?
It's like a container, and it's like almost like a hamster wheel, but it like picks up, so it's like touching the butter that's at the bottom. That's like
Like a stamp,
liquid.
like a stamp
and so
of
they
butter.
like rub. No, they like rub the.
I have
like a
never
wheel.
once in my life have heard of that.
It's a wheel. They do it in the restaurant industry. That's why you're like.
That's why they have too much freaking butter on their freaking
So it's
toast.
like a wheel, and then you like put your toast on it, and and the wheel turns, and it picks up butter.
I gotta look this up later.
It's a real thing. Glad. But that's how, like, I don't know. Yeah. That's maybe it's like that. That's why it's so buttery.
That's my POV. That's my POV.
That's a great
Too
one.
much butter, no bueno.
This is great.
Anyways, those are great POVs, guys.
This is great.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank
for
you.
coming on.
Thank you for having me.
So enlightening. Love talking to you. Well, we got to talk more because
Yeah.
I got
All the
some more
things.
off-air questions.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Thank you for being here.
Yes,
we
thank
will see
you.
you guys next week on POV.
Bye.